Before script and temple, there were whispers of a wisdom older than time. Some say it was carried on the breath of gods. Others say it lived inside the human heart, waiting to be remembered. The Book of Thoth was never meant to be held by ordinary hands. Its pages are silence and symbol, written in the living light beneath all things. What you are about to hear is not a translation of an ancient manuscript, but a retelling, an attempt to follow the seeker through the hidden halls where Thoth teaches those who are ready. This story is an inner journey. Let the doors open. I remember no beginning, only quiet. A silence so complete that even memory could not disturb it. From that stillness I became aware of a faint glow inside me, a single spark waiting to be seen. I followed it inward. The glow widened into a gentle radiance, and I found myself standing before a great hall carved from living stone. Columns rose like lotus stems, their crowns offering light to an unseen sky. This was the house of life, the place where the gods taught humans to remember. At its threshold stood a figure robed in linen, hands folded before him, eyes shining with a calm older than time. He did not speak his name. He did not need to. I knew I was in the presence of Jehuti, Thoth, scribe of the gods, keeper of sacred words, mirror of heavenly wisdom. He studied me with a gaze that saw beyond flesh, as though reading a text written inside my bones. He spoke. You have been called. Why do you seek the house of life? I searched for an answer but found only a feeling, something like hunger yet deeper. A memory of knowing, slipping through my thoughts when I tried to grasp it. At last I replied, I seek to remember. At this, Thoth turned and entered the great hall. I followed. Inside, walls shimmered with living inscriptions. Words written in ancient script spiraled like serpents, uncoiling as I passed, revealing scenes of worlds forming from the breath of the Hidden One. As we walked among the glyphs, Thoth spoke. All things are written twice, once in the world and once in the heart. To know a thing only outwardly is to know nothing. His hand brushed an inscription etched in blue and gold. It brightened at his touch. You have read many scrolls, he said, yet the inner pages remain sealed. He paused before a pedestal of black basalt. On it rested a simple reed pen and a sheet of untouched papyrus. To enter the great work, Thoth said, you must first learn to read the light within. He pointed to the blank page. Write, he said. I hesitated. My hand trembled as I lifted the reed. I pressed its tip to the papyrus, expecting nothing. But light flowed from the pen, a soft radiance that took form as I moved. I watched in awe as the page filled with symbols I did not know, yet somehow understood. They were not words but reflections, each a mirror of something I carried within me. I saw a lake, still and dark, holding the images of many worlds in its silent surface. Thoth said, look more deeply. The image of the lake came alive. A ripple spread across its surface. Beneath its reflection I saw thoughts, fears, and forgotten memories moving like shadows under clear water. To know the world, Thoth said, you must first know the waters of your mind. The scene shifted. The lake became a fountain, its waters rising and falling in a rhythm that felt familiar, like breath or thought. From its spray emerged strands of shining thread, woven and cast outward into unseen space. This is the net of life, Thoth said. Time, fate, memory, dream, and becoming. All are threads woven by the mind of the One. I reached toward the threads. As my hand passed among them, they lit, each revealing a moment, a life, a choice. Some threads were smooth, others frayed. Some glowed brightly, others dimmed. Every word spoken, Thoth continued, strikes a thread in the net. Learn which threads sing and which unravel. The threads began to gather, drawn inward, as though answering a call. They spiraled into a sphere, a globe of light held together by a heartbeat I could almost hear. Inside it, I saw myself, not in my human form, but as a spark wrapped in the breath of the cosmos. The sphere pulsed, and I felt my own heart answer it. This, Thoth said, is the house within the house, the scroll within the scroll, the word before speech. The sphere brightened until its light surrounded me. I felt myself fold inward, toward a point where thought and silence met. In that stillness there was a sound without letters, older than language. The first word. It rose from the center of my being, and with it came light, not around me, but through me. The hall dissolved. The inscriptions fell away. The sphere unfolded into radiance. I understood. I was not seeing the word. I was speaking it. A breath became a flame, and the flame became a path. Thoth's voice echoed inside my heart. He who reads the inner page becomes the page. He who speaks the hidden word becomes the word. Light gathered around the spark within me. It grew, soft and gentle, yet immense. The light moved outward, responding to the breath I could not hold back. I watched as a new world began to unfold. A new creation unfolded before me. It rose in quiet order, guided by a law deeper than memory. The lake rested in stillness, reflecting a sky shaped from thought. The fountain pulsed like breath. The flowing net shimmered with countless threads. Hermes stepped forward. His presence felt familiar, like a friend once known. He placed his hand on the net of life. The threads trembled and opened into scenes. I saw a man planting grain under a red sky. I saw a woman carving symbols into clay. I saw a child placing stones in a circle before sleep. Small acts, quiet moments. Each carried the same light that lived in the sphere. Hermes said, "Great truths are not found only in temples and stars. They live in hands, in breath, and in the rhythm of ordinary things. New scenes appeared. Sorrow and joy, union and parting, kingdoms rising and fading. I saw lovers meeting and separating, their hearts tied by threads beyond time. I saw wandering souls walk through darkness, then return to drink from the fountain. Though countless, every scene carried one truth. Nothing stands alone. Everything is woven." Hermes released the threads. The net hummed softly. Thoth approached. "You witnessed the weaving," he said, "but can you read it?" His voice carried patience, not challenge. He directed my gaze toward the sphere. Inside its radiance, spirals unfolded like a lotus opening without end. "Creation is a language," Thoth said, "not of letters, but of relation." He pointed to a single thread. "This is a word." He pointed to another. "This is also a word." Then he touched a darker thread woven of shadow and gold. "This is silence." Silence speaks as powerfully as sound, the three threads intertwined. I felt their meaning, not in thought, but in presence. "Life is not a sentence," Thoth said. "It is a chorus." I bowed as understanding settled inside me. Thoth placed his hand on my brow. The world shifted. I stood within the sphere. It surrounded me with quiet brilliance. Symbols moved through the air, alive, changing, breathing. I recognized some: the eye, the feather, the serpent. Others were unfamiliar, existing between meaning and mystery. "These are the words before words," Thoth said. "They hold all truth that will ever be spoken." Hermes traced a line through the air. The symbols brightened, then softened. "The scribe does not invent," he said. "He reveals. Knowledge is remembered, not created." The sphere opened, and I stood again by the lake. Now I saw beneath the surface, thought, story, emotion, and memory layered like reflections. "This lake is your mind," Thoth said, and the mind is also the world. A wave passed across the water. Scenes appeared, not of strangers, but of myself. Moments of joy, old wounds, love held too tightly, truth ignored, truth embraced. Beneath them all, I saw the same spark I carried before entering the hall. The fountain rose higher, responding to my understanding. As the mind stirs, creation stirs, Thoth said. The fountain burst upward. Its droplets fell as starlight. Each became a luminous seed upon the lake, forming new images, new possibilities, new threads. What you cultivate within, Thoth said, you plant in the world. The gods do not command the heart to create. They listen to what it speaks. The sphere of light gently receded. I stood again between Thoth and Hermes. The net grew still, waiting. Hermes raised his staff. Two shining threads twined where the serpents met. Balance, he said, is the secret of motion. Creation without balance unravels. Silence without expression fades. Thoth nodded. To walk the path of the scribe is to know when to speak and when to listen. A wave of light moved through the net. The threads converged, then parted, forming a single truth within me. Creation is not a one-way breath. It is exchange. The world speaks as I speak. The world listens as I listen. Thoth looked into me. You have seen the unfolding. Now learn the return, Hermes said. All that goes outward must come home. The net shimmered. The fountain softened. The lake became calm. Light gathered itself, not ending, but returning. The sphere brightened, drawing light from every thread. The lake mirrored the sky. The fountain lowered. The net folded into a single point of radiance. The point drifted toward me like a falling star. It rested behind my heart. Every world and every thread settled into stillness. Nothing was lost. Everything returned. Thoth said, "The circle is the teaching," Hermes added, "and you are the circle." The point of light pulsed once. I breathed in. The universe breathed with me, and all was quiet again. The scene dissolved into quiet. Only a soft glow remained. It hovered just behind my heart, a small point of light, steady and warm. I closed my eyes. The temple faded. The world fell away. The light grew brighter. It gathered itself like a seed waking in spring. Then it opened. Inside, I saw another chamber, not of stone, but of living presence. It felt like being carried inward, as though the path were not ahead, but within. I entered. The chamber was shaped like a heart. Its walls breathed. They pulsed with quiet rhythm, the same rhythm that moves oceans and lifts the sun. In the center stood Thoth, and beside him stood Hermes. One presence, two faces, two voices of a single knowing. Neither spoke. Their silence was full. I understood. This place was not separate from me. It had always been here. Thoth lifted his hand. A book appeared, not of papyrus or stone, but of light. Its pages turned without wind. Each page shone with symbols I felt more than I saw. Some were like stars, some like breath, some like simple shapes drawn into endless meaning. Hermes said, "This book is not read with the eyes." Thoth said, "It is lived." The book dissolved into the point of light behind my heart, as though it had never been separate from me. I felt the light sink deeper. It spread through my chest, into my arms, my hands, my breath. I felt it flow into my memory, into my voice, into everything I had ever touched. Hermes asked, "What is written?" I placed my hand over my heart. The answer rose without effort. All things return to the One, and the One lives within all things. Thoth nodded. The teaching is not a possession. It is a way of being. The chamber brightened. The walls became sky. The floor became earth. I stood again at the threshold of the house of life. The scrolls lay quiet. The fountain whispered. The air shimmered with morning. Thoth said, "You entered seeking knowledge. You leave carrying yourself," Hermes added. The scribe, the word, and the light are now the same. The temple doors opened. I stepped forward. The world outside felt familiar, yet entirely new. My hands were empty, but I carried the book. My mind was quiet, but I carried the word. My heart was steady, because I carried the light. Thoth's voice echoed behind me. Where you walk, the teaching walks. Hermes whispered, and what you live, you will know. The doors closed. Their sound was gentle. I looked into the world. It breathed with me. Everything was the temple now. I took my first step, then another. Each was simple, each was sacred. The path was no longer hidden. It was everywhere, and the light within me shone. And so, the seeker became the path. The world was no longer separate from the temple, and every breath carried the quiet teaching of Thoth. You and I walk the same way. Stillness is the doorway. Light is the guide. The journey continues within you.